And on Wordz On Hitz today, we're going to look at idiomatic expressions. Well, we need a lot more of that. And of course, let's get into it. So today we look at a wet blanket. What is the meaning of a wet blanket? Enjoyment or enthusiasm? That's that they are given a wet blanket. So example, Sarah's constant pessimism and negative comments about potential challenges through a wet blanket on their celebration, right? So it means that Sarah is very pessimistic and negative, right? So she's always given a bad vibe. So that's what wet blanket is. So she throws a wet blanket on their celebration. She throws a wet blanket on their achievement, right? So it's always about pessimism. It's about negative comments. And if you listen to my introduction today, it was more about wet blanket. People throwing wet blankets all over the place on the internet. It's not funny, right? So after that, we're going to look at not a spark of decency. What does it mean if I say a spark of decency or not a spark of decency? It means no manners. The class showed not a spark of decency by refusing to stand up when their principal entered the classroom. The gathering showed not a spark of decency when the Otufo arrived at the Deva ground. No manners. That's the meaning of spark of decency, not a spark of decency, right? So you can actually add that to your expression to make it sound nicer, to make it sound more, to sound richer. Last but not least, we're going to look at on Wordz On Hitz today is the gift of the gab. The gift of the gab. What does it mean? Talent for speaking, right? So I have the gift of the gab. Mercury Quay has a gift of the gab. What does it mean? It means that he's got the talent for speaking, right? With his natural charisma and the gift of the gab, he could effortlessly captivate any audience with his storytelling. The gift of the gab, right? So in case you didn't know, if someone has got a gift of the gab, it means they've got a talent for speaking. We've looked at not a spark of decency, which is no manners. We've looked at a wet blanket, which means a person who discourages enjoyment or enthusiasm. All these on Wordz On Hitz today. I've got more Wordz On Hitz for you on the big drive tomorrow.
This is Hits.